Hey guys, how's it going? Companion here. So today I want to talk about Diablo 3 and how it's kind of bleeding into some of the PoE videos I've made recently, and give you guys my thoughts on what's going to go down in the future with this game. Now, nobody knows for sure, but the guys over in Diablo 3 land have told people that soon enough there will be seasons, there will be ladders in Diablo 3, and a lot of people are excited, a lot of people plan to play for this event, and this includes myself. I don't really think I'll play too hardcore, but a reset is pretty cool. Maybe give me a chance to see the game as it has evolved over time. Today, or maybe just earlier, there was a pretty big Diablo patch, and it introduced, this is patch 2.0.5, it introduced a lot of changes to the classes. It kind of balanced them out a little bit more, and this is kind of the process that seems to happen throughout any other game, where they change a few things, they balance a few things. In this specific case, they made some of the weaker classes a little bit stronger, and they didn't really nerf the OP stuff too much. Just a few slight tweaks, and a lot of stuff had to do with the damage type changes for the character skills, as it seems that Blizzard has acknowledged the fact that people, when they construct their characters, they want to line up like one type of damage, and it adds another stat that they can stack with their gear to make their characters super powerful. So this one modification makes it so it does add a little bit of extra depth to the game. They're taking advantage of it. The changes are overall very good, but they don't really fix any of the real problems. And I want to give you guys some perspective to when I say this. I don't want to sound hypocritical, but I have played PoE for a very long time. I'm a big fan of the game. There are things wrong with PoE, but I don't mind them really as much as I do in other games. And PoE, in my opinion, is just the best ARPG game out there. The reason I get pretty bored every time I play it after a few days, sometimes a week, is because for about a year, in the last 2 years, I played PoE to the point where I had the best racing record out of anybody. I was making some crazy builds. People would just copy what I do every single time, and it came to the point where I was even designing a website for Curse so they could pretty much be the source of the PoE builds. And I was just doing all that by myself, and it was just to the point where I knew everything about the game. I was playing it every day. I was playing at a competitive level every single day, and whenever I come back and play the game again, I experience the new things, but after a while the new things kind of become normal, and all the rest seems about the same, and I feel like I've done this before. I don't get too entertained after some time, and this is something I tend to expect every time I return to the game, and I feel that maybe not, it's coming back these days after playing for 3 days or so. However, there is something that PoE has that Diablo doesn't have, and that is a real ladder system. And this is really relevant because in Path of Exile, when there is a new ladder, sometimes it lasts an hour, sometimes it lasts 3 hours, sometimes it lasts a week. In this particular case, the reason I've come back to the game, it's last 2 weeks. And the real reason I've come back to the game is that they've made it so the rule sets that control the world that you play in are fundamentally changed. And this is what makes it, this is why you would actually want to participate in this kind of ladder. And yes, there is just the normal reset system, the point where you can see in Diablo 2 they would just restart the ladder, add a few items, a few rune wards, and just let people have fun. There is that type of stuff, but that stuff is a little bit old. People kind of expect more these days, and it is something that I'm really critical and really pessimistic about the future of Diablo 3 with their ladder system. And this is because they haven't really given out any details, and I feel the reason they haven't given out any details is because more than likely, now not necessarily, obviously these are assumptions, these are opinions, more than likely they don't really have much to announce. The reality is, people are telling me that I should start playing Diablo 3 because soon enough ladders will be launched. And that's the end of the sentence. But the reality is, there essentially already is a ladder in Diablo 3. You just go to Diablo Progress, and then bam, there's your ladder. Worldwide, you can check by EU. Oh hey, look at that. So, you know, on the levels that we've seen Diablo 2 come out with, you know, it's pretty much the same thing already. When I started playing Diablo 3 ROS, I played on essentially a new account because I played on my own account but on the EU side, and I had absolutely nothing there. So this notion of starting over, it didn't really catch up with me too well because, you know, Diablo 3 is a game where you play with your friends, you kind of get some cool gear, you kind of do some cool stuff. It's kind of like hanging out. And yeah, there isn't much to it. For them to really have success with this kind of ladder system, they should do what Blizzard has done very well in the past. They should take some ideas from games that have done it very well, like Path of Exile. They should introduce very radical new rules to each of these ladders. There really should be a real reason to participate in each and every one of them. And Diablo is kind of the game that has such a huge potential audience, but all you really have to do is like sell them. You know, they have to have some really good content, and so many people will get hooked. We almost saw it on the ROS release, when a lot of people started playing again, and you know, it wasn't really for much of a reason. ROS didn't really change very much in the game, just removed the auction house, but for, you know, people like me, I didn't use that thing to begin with, so yeah. Oh well, just thought I'd give you guys my thoughts. A lot of interesting stuff going on, and you know, if you want to hope for the best, you know, you might be disappointed. But we'll see. I'll probably play Diablo 3 ladders anyway, and I'll probably get a little bored of Path of Exile after a short while every time I play it. So, these things are to be expected. But what will happen, we'll see. Until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow.